Bing bong, what's up? I'm back with another video, and for this week's video, we're gonna learn how to make these designs using only this. Basically, the look you're going for is that airbrush style look that was really popular back in the early 2000s. For some reason, that seems to be coming back right now, so I'll make a quick video, not really quick, but a detailed video, just to show you how to do that. Now, you could use Adobe Illustrator, you can use Photoshop, but I find it's much easier just to use the iPad, the Apple Pencil, because you have a little bit more control and it's just easier to use a pen, in my opinion, than it is to use a mouse and keyboard. So with that being said, we're going to get into it. All right, so here's where we're going to start at. So this is the image right here that I want to trace out for my vector that I'm going to move over to the computer. And I'll show you how to do all that, but here's what we're going to start with. So we're going to start with my pen that I specifically like using is the script pen. It can be found in the inking, I believe, or maybe it's drawing. Well, we're gonna find it together now. All right, calligraphy, script. Yeah, script is in calligraphy, and that is, in my opinion, the best brush for doing outlines. So the settings I keep the brush on are stabilization. I keep the streamline at about 30 and the stabilization at about 50, and that just gives you a little bit smoother of a stroke to where it doesn't give you like real jagged lines when you're drawing. I mean, this isn't like paper. This is, you're drawing on a piece of glass. It's a lot more difficult. Also, the taper. Bring the taper all the way in, size max, everything else on 0. Same thing with the touch taper. It just gives you a nice little swoosh to edge when you do your strokes. All right, so let's go ahead and start. So we're gonna go, I got a lot of stuff I'm working on this file. So there's my inserted image right there. So let me add 2 layers. One layer is going to be for the outline, and then the layer below that is going to be for coloring it in. So first thing first, let me see how big this stroke is. Okay, not that big. Let me change this color to black real quick. It's still kind of small. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Alright, there's that. And do these like that, where you just do like little strokes on each one. That looks like crap, so we'll do that again. This is the part that I really got to focus on because it's the part that makes all the difference. So just take my time, get all this outlining done. That a little bit. And I want to go through and just make that right there too. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make these a little bit smaller for this. So as you can see, as I'm going, I'm kind of changing the brush pattern, redoing a bunch of stuff as needed. And then just kind of going with the flow on it. All right, now let's see what it looks like without the background. All right, not a bad start. Not a bad start. All right. So next thing is going to be coloring it in. All right, so to color it in and get a more realistic, like watercolor feel, I use this brush Water Bleed. Now this one, I can't tell you where I got it. Oh, I know where I got it from. Yeah, I got it from the water brush. So if you go to the water brush, turn your opacity down just a little bit, and then just start coloring it in. Let me turn that up a little bit thicker. Oh, almost forgot. Go down to this layer behind it, so that way when you're coloring it in, it doesn't go over top of your outline. It stays underneath your outline. Fill this in. And I've been thinking recently, what made Jay-Z be considered the best rapper of all time? I don't get it. I don't see where he's considered the best rapper of all time. You know, you have rappers like Nas who completely destroyed him in Ether. I mean, to the point where now they say being ethered is a phrase. Like when you get dissed so hard, it's like, oh, you got ethered. Like, and we're considering him the best rapper of all time. Like, what made him the best rapper of all time? I mean, 50 Cent even, like, I mean, I think blows him out of the water. Kanye, who's another one on his label. I mean, during Kanye's heyday, you know, Kanye was everything, and I just don't see how we're considering Jay-Z to be the greatest rapper of all time. You know, he didn't start a trend. Like, he's not like a Chief Keef who like started the drill movement. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Another thing is, while you're doing this, try not to like do this all in like one motion, because if you mess up like I did and go outside the line a little bit, then when you go back, you have to, or if you hit the back button, you're losing a lot more. Alright. We're just gonna... And if you go inside of the eyes or the nose or anything like that, again, not a big deal, because we're gonna do another layer to cover that up. So now we're gonna do the eyes, like I said. So we're gonna go add a layer, boom, and let's do black for the inside of the eyes. But yeah, not a Jay-Z fan. I mean, he's had a couple good hitters, like 99 Problems was a hitter. You know, a couple of his older songs. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't see how he's this goat of music, and how the hell did Cowboy Carter get to be a #1 hit? Like, this is just ridiculous. Like, how does it winning Grammys? Like, I don't know anybody that was like, yo, put that Cowboy Carter on. Like, I hate it here. I really do. We're just giving away free awards. All right, so next thing, I'm gonna bring the color in a little bit, make it a little bit lighter. What is that? It's a little too light. Let's bring it back down a little bit darker. That's too dark. Yeah, we'll just try that. Might be a little white, but it'll work out. I'm gonna go back and add a layer underneath of that black, so that way it doesn't there we go. So that way that black doesn't cover it up. There we go. Oh, that's that up. All right, now same thing for the nose. Color that nosy in black. Fiddlesticks. Right there. Okay. Color that nosy in black. You know what? While I'm looking at it, I got it close up here like this. I want to go in and fill in some of that white. I just noticed one of the spots where it was missing. Right there. Right around the nose area. Right around the eyes there. Which, I mean, it's supposed to give that watercolor effect anyway, but that was just a little too much for me. So there you go, you have the skull. All right, we're gonna move on to the next portion now. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add the flames in here. So I've added a layer that's gonna go behind, behind the skull right here. And this is gonna go, I think, on a white t-shirt or a gray t-shirt. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make the outline of the flames red. I'm gonna use the script brush like I did before. And we'll go ahead and just draw our flames. Now when you're drawing flames, it's not that difficult. You just kind of making a little bit of spikes like this. And if you have your brush settings like I do, it will make it a hell of a lot easier because you won't have all those jagged edges. Always like stop in the middle like I did right there, because it makes it a lot easier than if you're trying to like work your way around. Just to stop right in the middle there, pick it back up. All right, and then add a little bit here too. Oh, that's the end of the thing. Oops. Should have maybe pulled that down a little bit. Add a little bit of extra flames here too. Just to add a little bit of realism. You know what? I'm gonna go back and make that a little bit smaller. That's a really big outline. So let's just pull that in a little bit. Go back and redo this. Okay. There we go. Stop in the middle. Bring it back. Oh, no, too much. Bring it back. All right. Add a little bit of extras here. Just give it a realistic flare. All right, now you go. You have your outline. Now, same thing as before. We're going to add a layer in behind it and color it in with the watercolor. Now, best way to do this, zoom it in as much as possible, bring the size of the brush down, and then you just go ahead and get the edges. I'm going to speed this part of the video up just for the sake of how slow it's going to be. All right, so there you have it. I don't know if you can see very well, but what I did was I just went in with the red and just kind of filled in roughly around the edges there. And the reason for that is to make these look realistic, you have to add in a couple different colors. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add in orange, because you kind of wanna fade it down as you're going. So we're gonna add this orange in here. Let me bring this up just a little bit. To add this orange in, you know what? I think I'm gonna make a layer. No, I'm gonna keep that layer. I'm gonna keep that layer. And just kind of bring it in and fill in as you go in. Tell you what, this week, man, I was Ozzy's last concert, and man, that was devastating seeing him like that, man. I mean, like, that was like my childhood hero was Ozzy Osbourne, and seeing, I mean, like, it was a good send-off and all that, like one last show for the, you know, for the time or whatever, but it's sad seeing, you know, old Ozzy like that. I mean, that was, you know, watching the Osbournes was like my childhood. So it's a sad state of affairs seeing the, you know, the Prince of Darkness now stuck in a wheelchair and screaming for people to get back on stage. And I know that they were going back on stage because they were bringing him a cake, but it's sad seeing it to where it looked like he was just left on stage, you know, even though that's not the case. But yeah, man. Also, if you guys feel like it, whoever watches this video, leave a comment down below on what you use Procreate for. I'm genuinely just curious, like if you have your own clothing brand, or like if you know, just kind of trying to learn for your, you know, for your own sake because you want to make your own clothes, or if you're a tattoo artist and you're, using Procreate, trying to find out ways to use Procreate, or, if you're an artist in general and you're just learning how to draw on Procreate, like, I'm genuinely curious as to what you're using it for, just to see what all is out there, what all people are using for out there. All right, so finishing this up now. Next thing we're doing is add a little bit of bright yellow, a little bit brightish yellow. Move that up a little bit, make that a little bit boom, boom, boom. All right. And just gonna finish coloring it in with the yellow. Me personally, so I do have my own clothing brand. It's called Always Tired. I actually am an ex-heroin addict, Xanax addict, whatever you want to call it. And almost died, not from an overdose, but from withdrawing cold turkey off of Xanax. When I woke up and I was like, they were telling me I was only given a 50-50 chance to live, and if I did live, I would more likely be brain dead. And others might argue that I am brain dead, but I feel as though I was given a second chance. So I figured I'd take that opportunity and make the best of it, and that's why I started my clothing brand. And all right, real quick, next thing you want to do is this smudge tool. Same thing with the smudge tool, have it on water bleed. Just kind of go through and kind of blend this together. As best you can. All right. It looks a lot better when you are like not rushing like I am, to kind of show you the detail of it. Like, I can show you the one I did when I wasn't rushing to get through the video, but here's the general aspect of it. Let me get rid of that nudge. Actually, let me just try to feather that in. There we go, like that. See, that's what I should have done. I should have feathered it in like that. Very lightly. I'm very lightly touching the brush on there. Just kind of feather it in there like that. And voila, there you go. You have some more realistic looking flames with like multiple colors, and it's done in that watercolor to where it looks like it's all meshed together. So next thing we'll go ahead and do is go ahead and do the graffiti writing. Alright, so for the graffiti writing, right, like I said earlier, I'm going to put this on either a white shirt or a gray shirt, so I'm going to go ahead and do a black outline. Script, same settings as before with black, and I want to make this a little bit thicker than that, because you want to make it look like it came out of a spray can. That's a little bit too thin. Okay, so let's bring it up to like, what is that at? 10%. Let's put it at 10%. So now what you're going to do is, all you're going to do is you're just going to kind of make some wild movements and strokes to draw out your letters. Nothing, it looks weird at first, but then as you kind of go forward and you color it in, you'll see it actually makes it turn out to look really nice. So let's go ahead. I'm going to write the word always out. Another big thing is when you're doing this, make sure you're writing it out to where you're going to fit inside of your box. Very important. I can't tell you how many times that I've had to delete everything and redo it, specifically because I messed up and made it too big and it wouldn't fit inside the box. W's are always the hardest too. Y's are a little bit difficult too. And the S. And And this might look like I have a lot of skill when I'm doing it. Maybe it does to some of you professionals, but really I'm just kind of making some erratic movements with my hands to kind of give you this like real irregular looking kind of spray painted look. So yeah, once you got the outline done, it's the same process as before. Go back. I'm going to make this red. I like all my stuff to be red. Water bleed. And we're filling it in, same as before. Let me get rid of that spot right there, okay. But yeah, as far as like starting your own clothing brand goes, it's frustrating at first. I mean, I fell victim to that thought process of like, I'm gonna make this design, and because I love it, the world's gonna love it, and the world's gonna see my vision. And you know, I spent so much time setting up my website and so much time making my designs. I mean, I thought if I just worked really hard at it, that it would, you know, come together and people would see the vision and buy it. And boy, when I ran that first Facebook ad and got nowhere, or meta ad, I was distraught. I was heartbroken. So it takes time. If you're starting your own clothing brand, do not expect to just come up with designs, put them out in the world, and then you're going to get tons of sales. You're lucky if you get a sale in your first year. It took me years to grow to where I am now, and I wouldn't have it any other way because it feels earned, and it, you know, the struggle was real for a while, but man, was that frustrating. And yeah, so we just colored it in, same as before. Also, another thing that kind of makes a world of difference is the smaller you make your brush with the water bleed, it seems to look better that way. It just seems to give it a more realistic paint stroke feel. And go different directions. For me, I like it to not be completely colored in. I like it to look like it was done irregularly. Like it's just my opinion. So you can always go back and just color in more if you like. For me, I'm just color it in what I like, what I think looks good. But yeah, when I first got into it, I had this, I fell into the victim of like, you know, trying to do another off-white where you're putting stuff in quotations and doing a bunch of weird boxes. And then I fell into the Hellstar trap because of how, you know, Hellstar just blew up, and that is what's popular. I mean, right now it's starting to change, I think, and this watercolor look is starting to become really popular. I forget the name of the brand, but it starts with an S. And they do it, but they do it really well. They do like little like cartoon figureheads on like crop men's tees, and it looks really good. But Hellstar, man, they made that thrifting design so popular. And if you want to learn how to do that to where it looks like cracked and worn and old, I have a video already on my channel about how to get that cracked look. Really, really easy to do. It's almost criminal how easy it is, but how good it makes it a design look. Yeah, it just gives it more life. But yeah, it seems like this watercolor stuff is starting to really become popular. So yeah, and back to music. While I'm coloring this in, Diddy was acquitted of most of his more serious charges. Pretty wild. You know, I kind of saw that coming. I'll be wrong. I think he is an awful person and he deserves jail time. But I think what the feds did is exactly what they did with Al Capone. The statute of limitations on the domestic violence stuff ran out. So they tried to get him on this shit, and they couldn't, because I mean, what they charged him with was not anywhere near what was the law. I mean, trying to say he was human trafficking people, and it just made a fool of the. I don't know. I really don't like Diddy as a person, given the stories I've heard about him. I mean, not just of what he did to Cassie, but the just hearing like he was like charging people insane amounts just for club walkthroughs, like not paying his bill. Like he just seems like an awful person. So, but at the same time, I don't think two consenting adults should by any means have any laws on them. Like the fact that, if he flies a girl out to canoodle and she agrees to it, how is that human trafficking? I mean, I get if he paid for her, but saying that she, benefited financially because he paid for her flight is a stretch. And I don't know. I hope Diddy goes to jail because, again, I think he's a horrible person, but I think the feds also need to stop with this whole RICO nonsense of where you're just charging everybody with RICO because you know that it enhances everything. I mean, the famous lawyer, what is his name? Drew Finley, who's Lil Durk's lawyer and NBA Youngboy's lawyer. I believe Boosie's lawyer too. He, even said it that RICO is like a steroid, where the feds know if they throw that RICO on there, they can pretty much have a better chance at winning. And it's wrong. You got to give us a fighting chance as civilians. All right, so there you go. That's the graffiti look. One other thing I do sometimes is, depending on what I'm looking for, is I'll go in and add some white in there. So let me add a layer. Boom. Just kind of throw a little bit of white. Or any color, really. Just kind of gives it a cool little look. I think I have one where it's like randomly done throughout the whole thing. Especially if you're doing like a drip pattern. Just throw in some white like that. Or whatever. Again, you can do whatever you want. I just think this makes it look a little bit more like graffiti with just random colors thrown in it. Another thing is like if you go through with like a whole outline, like for example, like this, just do a whole outline. That kind of, it makes it a cool look sometimes, depending on how you drew your letters out. And with this stuff, the pressure does matter. Like how hard you push down on the pen seems to make a world of difference on how precise your water bleed brush is, if it doesn't go outside of the. But yeah, okay. So now let me show you what it looks like with a background. But voila. See, like I said, I think the little whites added in makes a world of difference. But again, you can do whatever you want if you want to see what it looks like without that white added in. Boom. So yeah, any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments. And before we go, I'm going to show you the actual design, the one I had to spend a lot of time doing, that I actually finished off camera, to show you what it looks like if you really take your time and slowly do this. So here is the full design right here. I actually went through and I made the brush size a little bit smaller to kind of blend it a little bit more, then threw it in throughout the design itself. Added a white outline, which, by the way, if you want to change that outline, very easy to do. All you do is change it to black. If I want to change it to black, all I do is come over here and move the pen to the right or left to color in more. And that's all you got to do if you want to change that outline. Also with the skull, I add a little bit of shading in, as you can see. Add a little bit darker shading around the edges. Added a little bit darker shading around the top of the skull. There's endless things you can do with these water brushes. I can make another video if you want to show you different shading tactics. I can make another trace video, whichever you guys would like. Please let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to do. and I hope you enjoyed. So yeah, that's it for this week's video. A very short video with a little introduction into paint and Procreate on how to actually draw with it. I think next week I'm gonna do a video showing better how to trace. Using that method and that settings on the brush is really not going to be great for tracing like detailed images like a Grim Reaper head or anything, because it just doesn't hold the same consistency as you go around. You want something that's a little bit more free-handed. So again, any questions, anything you want to see, anything specific, be sure to leave a comment. I'll be happy to make a video on it. But for now, that's all I got. See you next week.